I'm Brett Francis, and this is my Hogwarts castle that I've been building on. Um, let's see, where do we start? We got the greenhouses and the Chamber of Secrets below with uh, Lockhart and Ron in the bone area, and then the door with the snakes, and then the whole encounter with Harry and Tom Riddle there at the basilisk. Um,
I love the details in the greenhouses. What are some of the pieces in there?
well, the fun ones, we got some alien heads there from I forget the series, but the space, the insect aliens, and we got pumpkins with some of those claw pieces coming out. I've got some aquatic plants over here, and then my favorite is the scary greenhouse with the vines trying to break out at the top and the giant fly traps. And then here's the lesson where Harry and his friends are learning how to replant the mandrakes. So that's up front. Here we've got the flying lesson of the first years where Neville's broom goes crazy and he falls off of that statue. And then Draco steals his Remember All, and Harry chases to get it. Let's see what else. We've got over here, we've got the Bobatons flying carriage, and just a mermaid in the lake for fun, because there are mermaids even though they don't look like that in Harry Potter. I thought that'd be fun. I guess over here we should probably talk about the Astronomy Tower, where we've got a couple of scenes. We've got Sirius escaping on the Hippogriff Buckbeak, and then we got Dumbledore falling out of the tower. That was an idea that one of the other builders here at BrickSlopes suggested. I didn't think of that one. And we got Snape and Draco at the top. So then we just got here is at the end of all of the books, Harry snaps, throws the Elder Wand away, snaps it, and throws the Elder Wand away just after the battle. So we thought that'd be a good one. A couple other things. We here have the courtyard leading into the Great Hall, and we've got Filch with his cat chasing a student. We've got Harry getting his second broom, his firebolt, taking a lap around. Here we have the first year students on their boats coming into Hogwarts the first time, and McGonagall with her list of the students coming into the boathouse. And then let's see, a couple other features. I've got my custom brick-built Hungarian horntail. I need it to be articulated, which the Lego sets aren't, so it could be chasing Harry and hanging off the tower without me having to build platforms into the tower. So just tried to do a lot of fun outdoor scenes. There's a couple other fun things, but we probably have to go to the back for those.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute, but I wanted to also get your thoughts on the roof technique here, because I love this kind of use of the gray ingots and even kind of layering on the big roof here.
Yeah, so I built that great tower several years ago, and I never could get the roof to be quite right because it's very hard to make a cone that size. And I had the idea, and I had an opportunity to buy bulk gray ingots, and I thought if I could shingle it, it would definitely kind of hide some of the seams or make the seams between the plates a little more obscured from a distance. And I think it worked rather well in kind of making it look more like a big cone rather than a bunch of plates stacked on top of each other. And I tried to use it other places where I thought were important. But even that eventually ran out. But yeah, I think it added a lot to some of these roofs.
And then for the buildings themselves, you did a great job kind of breaking up the tan, which is something that you see with a lot of Harry Potter layouts. It's kind of all tan. So what were some of the colors and pieces you used to kind of add some other texture there?
So I started with just trying dark gray, dark tan, and then I tried incorporating gray, and it just didn't work. And I was happy when the Harry Potter line out of Legos used the medium nougat, I think is what it's called, and dark orange, and it just kind of worked as a good color palette to break it up, and I think I don't know, for me it looks a little more standoutish than just flat tan, which I have seen others, but I kind of like the way it looked. When you look at photos of the actual image of the model they used in the movies, it's got all sorts of colors in it. And so I think it kind of worked.
And then going back to the big tower over here, I also love the rounded technique you used there, kind of putting the tiles on top of plates to add that texture.
Yeah. I thought it looked better without just all being studs facing out. So I grabbed as many tiles as I could in the colors and did that. And I also tried to add a couple of places where we switched from plates to brick built, just to kind of break it up a bit. And I think overall it worked okay. But yeah, I think I am pretty happy with the way the tower turned out. Here we have my very compacted Forbidden Forest, but one of my goals of this, once we got outside of the castle itself, was just to cram in as many fun scenes next to the castle as we could. So we have here Harry meeting Grop with Hermione, and Grop has his bicycle handlebars with a bell. Here we have Harry, Draco, and the dog Fang finding the dead unicorn that Voldemort's drinking the blood from. Here we have Expecto Patronum, the first time Harry uses that spell to save himself from and Sirius from the Dementors. We have just some random students going to the house, but here we have the flying Fort Angelina car that's about ready to crash into the Whomping Willow. I've run out of batteries, so my Whomping Willow's not moving right now, but you can see where the Whomping Willow is over here. Next to Hagrid's hut, here's Hagrid's hut with the scene where they're about to execute the Hippogriff, and Harry and Ron and Hermione are running out the back door. And then I think you've already got it, but here's Harry and Ron with Aragog, the spider, and trying to talk and find out what's in the Chamber of Secrets. And I guess the last one is just the Umbridge and the Centaurs, where she's trying to take control of that situation. They run off with her. So that was kind of fun. And then a little bit on the other side, we got the clock tower here. If my batteries were working, the pendulum goes back and forth. There's supposed to be a courtyard in front of the clock tower, but it had already gotten too big. I decided to use this space in between the clock tower and where the Quidditch pitch is going to go to have the scene where Harry's fighting the Hungarian Horntail in the arena before it breaks loose of its chain and goes flying. And you can see the spectators in the stand. The interesting thing about Hogwarts is there's really no good shots of what's between the two halves. You've got 3 bridges, but we really don't know what's in there. So I figured I'd put a spring and a little stream and a river just to fill it out, and I think it turned out okay. There's some standing stones there. That there's a scene where I think Draco and his friends are watching them, are looking down to see what happens to the Hippogriff and the execution. I didn't know where else to put them, so I put them there. And then this is my little joke. I ran out of time to finish the Quidditch pitch, so we have Octan and Lord Business and Emmett and their crew breaking ground on the future home of the Quidditch pitch with
the athletic complex here.
That's correct. So hopefully I'll get that finished and eventually call it complete. Inside the other courtyard there, I put the scenes from the Winter's Ball where they're all dressed up and having the dance with the other schools. So that's fun. And then I guess on the very, very end, there's the just the Thestrals where the students who've arrived on the Hogwarts Express come up from the village in the carriages, and just a fun little scene. Yeah. And I think that kind of covers it.
I mean, this is an absolutely fantastic layout. Do you have any idea how many pieces are in the whole thing?
I really don't. I know, I mean, I can't even guess. Just the shingles alone are like 2,500 shingles. The water, about the same. So, and that's the not important part. So I'd guess there's probably, 100,000 pieces in here somewhere. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not good at estimating.
It adds up very quickly, but then obviously with a layout of this size, you have to build it in a way that you can bring it to shows. So what was that process like in terms of transporting that and getting this set up?
So all of my towers and castle sections come apart, and each base plate is like, there's no two base plates that are fully connected, so that each one separates completely. I've never brought it to a show until 2 days ago, so this is my first time transporting it, but I'm happy to say that we packed it all up in a bunch of boxes, threw it in a van, and everything survived mostly intact. So yeah, but yeah, it takes a bit to put it all back together.
Do the buildings have any interiors really, or is it mostly just kind of structural?
So the Great Hall has an interior because that's where I started, just to get the idea of what a minifig scale would be. And after I built that, I realized nobody's really going to see the interiors, and it would add so much to the build time. So I figured I'd just do the exteriors and do the grounds of Hogwarts instead of trying to do all the classrooms. So
Yeah, well, it's certainly still quite the undertaking. So I know you mentioned the Quidditch area. What are some of your other plans for the future with the layout?
I'd like to do lighting, and I would like to possibly put in a few more motorized elements, and maybe extended another base plate or two on each side to do the exterior courtyards justice. But after that, I don't think I can get any bigger. It's already stretching the limits of my ability to transport it. So.
Yeah. Well, great work here. Thank you so much for taking us through the whole layout, and can't wait to see more from you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.